Today we are bringing Hammertime to explore with the help of Astor, the Bearer of Blades. This is an incredible deck that has made its way in literally every archetype in Magic's history that's constructed, and it hasn't really found a home in Explorer. Now this is mostly because of the lack of reduction equip cost, but now with Astor, the ability to both search up a fantastic equipment like the Colossus Hammer, and also the ability to equip it for just one is really, really good. Now we also, because of the other backup option for that card being Resolute Strike, we are making this deck a bit of a Warriors tribal deck, and it can really, really hit super hard, basically out of nowhere. So this deck is incredibly fun. I'm excited to share it with you today. We're going to drop down this Maul of the Skyclaves onto our Fireblade Charger here, having tons of fun, and let's see if we can snatch some wins with this underrated surprise deck that is coming out of nowhere, in my opinion, and not played enough on Explorer. So it looks like we're going to play against Angel Tribal here. I think we can handle that matchup pretty well. We get the double striking Fireblade Charger in there, pairing that with the Kor Blademaster here, going super well. The Angel mono white, or it looks like Orzhov deck, is quite formidable. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to pull it off, but hitting this Showdown of the Skalds here, I do think will feel quite nice. Now the question is, do we drop down the Rune, gain ourselves 6 life, potentially clear this Valkyrie out of the way, also get 3 damage off, or do we just drop down the Showdown and hope to hit our Hammer and set up the Hammer for next turn? It's a good question. I think we go Showdown, go for the big play. Getting that lifelink isn't going to insanely change things. Okay, that's fine. We're going to hit 2 playables. Let's go ahead and swing in the Fireblade Charger. Even if he blocks with the big Valkyrie, it will KO us, but then we'll also take out this Valkyrie at the same time, which I think would be a worthwhile trade. So instead, they're just going to take 6, which is getting to be quite a lot. They're hoping to grow their youthful Valkyries probably to be high enough, or they're just going to exile the Charger without it taking any damage. So that's going to put in a lot of work, actually. And there's Astor. Now we're in a weird situation. I think we just play Astor here. Let's put down the Pathway. We'll go for red. Kirin and Blademaster are obviously nice, but I don't think they're as good as Astor. Getting to equip this Maul for 1 is going to be awesome. Also, we find our Hammer. That's going to come down next turn, but for now, we want to equip, and we need to start getting in there. So we're going to attach the Maul. 4/4 flying double strike should do quite a bit of work. They do have a block with the Valkyrie, but we need to put the pressure on. This is not a deck that can handle the long-range games. You got to strike fast, you got to get in there for damage, and you want to be winning by turn 4 or 5 with just insanely huge pop-off plays. So this deck is really fun to play just because it plays so fast. It puts on so much pressure. If your opponent doesn't have removal at the right time, you win. And sometimes it doesn't even matter if they have the removal. It's too expensive to deal with your little tiny, crazy, insane plays that you're popping off with. So we are going to have some sweet plays here for you now. So we're going to get to drop down this Hammer. And then we're going to get to put a bunch of counters on Astor. And then we're going to get to put lifelink on the Hammer. Check this out, guys. They're tapped out, so they don't have much else they can do. We are going to equip the Hammer to Astor, and then just for a little more life gain, watch this, guys. This is actually crazy. 18/18, funny interaction. The Maul and the way it works with Colossus Hammer the Colossus Hammer doesn't make you lose flying if you pair the two together. So we have an 18/18 lifelink flying first strike human warrior. All we need now is trample to absolutely obliterate our opponent. We're going to have an insanely high life total, even if they're able to remove us. And then we're going to follow that up with another Fireblade Charger. So this deck is so fun, guys. What a great start. Let's see if they can take it away from us. But we're going to gain 18, which is going to buy us a bunch of time, no matter what they do, even if they've got all the tools that they need. So let's go ahead and drop down this Charger, just so that we can get that last +1/+1 counter. Super funny. We're going to get to put a Hammer on the Charger as well next turn. So good. So good. They're going to take 2, so they've got probably a board wipe coming. I'm confused by the Righteous Valkyrie, why they paid the extra life for that. That seems like a mistake. Now we've got an even better card, so this is also going to pair super well. Koll is a super nice card when you get it, because if your equipped creature dies, you get to return it to your hand. And that is very powerful when paired with Astor. so that even if they are able to take us out, we get to drop it back down into our hand. Same thing with Fireblade Charger. Incredibly good little combo because it deals 11 if it dies. I think we're going to wrap this one up in short order. They're going to have to just put everything in our way. And there's game 1. Absolutely fantastic. Keep following me in game 2. If you're looking for the deck list, it will be at the end of this video. But let's jump into game 2 now and see what else we can do with Hammertime. Jumping into game 2, taking a small risk by keeping a 2-lander. But when you see Colossus Hammer and Resolute Strike in your opening hand, you kind of just go for it. 2-land is the minimum. I don't think you can keep a 1-lander. But this is just way too valuable not to play. Unfortunately, going to drop down a second hammer. Would have rather seen any 1 or 2 drop warrior there. But when you've got these 2 cards together in that opener, you just have to draw 1 playable warrior or get the lands to get there. So we are sadly going to see a slow start here. Lightning Axe will be nice. Might be worth hitting this Resplendent Angel with the axe. I think we will do that. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to hit this with the axe. And we are going to target the angel. We're going to get rid of Showdown of the Skalds. That's our late game play. We're just trying to build up a quick professional facebreaker here. So we're going to take 2. We slowed them down. We really need a land here. Oh, that is just a bad draw. That is just unfortunate. You know, sometimes you draw the cards you need, and sometimes you draw 3 Colossus Hammers and no lands. So this deck, luckily, as we saw in that last game, it can gain crazy life, it can slap for crazy damage. So really, until you lose, you've kind of got a shot with it. So it's always worth playing out. But this one, not looking good. They've got 4 lands, we've got 2. If you don't play enough mana... Okay, Blademaster could get us there. Blademaster is a card that you can just accidentally win with. And I guess they're going to hit this and not that, so that's sad. But anyway, Blademaster is a card you can just kind of accidentally win with because they'll let it go through sometimes, and then you just put the hammer on and deal 22 damage, and you just win. Sustenance, that's pretty good. That's the card that could get us back in the game, especially if we put it on a Blademaster. But they're getting giddy in here for 6 a turn, so I don't know if we're going to make it. A land would still be really, really nice. It would. So we're going to take the L unless we draw the 3rd land. Okay, moment of truth. Why can we not play this? Oh, this is keeping us from playing anything with the same name. Well, that's probably going to cost us the game then, huh? Well, that is quite sad. Ixalan's Binding actually getting us the L. Because we could have played the Blademaster, put on the Resolute Strike, gained 20 life, and that could have saved us. But you just have bad draws sometimes, so that's okay. Let's go to game 3 and see if we can redeem ourselves with a little more luck in the next one. Okay, so this time we're going to keep a 3-lander as well as the Resolute Strike, and that's knowing that if we can get to that 4th land, we're going to get to dig pretty deep into our deck. We'll consider lightning maxing this. Let's see where it goes. Rune of Speed, not terrible. We're going to put down the Sash. Sash is mostly in the deck for graveyard hate, but occasionally, when you draw this card and it stays out for a while, it does grow and get to be pretty effective. But this is basically just for all those pesky graveyard decks. It can hit that Cauldron Familiar, things of that nature. But it is a nice 2-drop here. Unfortunately, Resolute Strike doesn't work on any of our equipment creatures, so that's a little bit sad. But it's also okay. Now, I really want to draw into land number 4. But also, starting to get in for 3 would put some pressure on. Also, this can grow later. My question is, do I put the Rune of Speed on the Lion Sash and try to draw land number 4? I think that is a better play because we're going to go for that big play. That's what we really want. So we're going to drop down the Rune of Speed. We're going to get in for 2. If they throw something to the graveyard, we get to grow the Lion Sash a little bit. But we hit land number 4, which is going to be more likely to set up the Hammertime play, which is the best way to win in the deck. It's the most fun, and it's the most powerful. A little bit of a tough choice here. But I think we just toss the Lightning Axe. Pretty sure that's the way to go. So next turn, unless we draw something that changes my mind, we're going for Showdown. Hammer. That does change my mind, actually. Man, now we're 1 mana away from Skyclaves, Hammer, Strike. I think we just go Hammer. They're just going to block, so it doesn't really benefit us to put the Resolute Strike down now. Let's get out the Maul first. We're going to set up Unblockable, get in for 4. Next turn, Resolute Striking with the Hammer on there. That feels good. I think that feels good. They're probably going to find KO, but hopefully they'll just pump this Knight up, tap out. Okay, they don't tap out, so that makes me nervous. Definitely makes me nervous. Okay, sweet. I'm going to take a risk here. We're going to Showdown and assume we're going to hit a white mana source. Could be a huge mistake, but I want to get this Showdown going. Show me a white mana source, untapped. Perfect. One of these will do. That'll do right there. We've already got the... Okay, so we're going to go to combat. We've already got the Unblockable. I feel like they've got removal, though. Hit it with the Resolute Strike. +2/+2. This will be the win if they don't have interaction. This will be the win. And of course they do. We were expecting that. So I can respect it. But we've got plenty of follow-up plays here. Plenty. We're going to slap down a Astor and put the Hammer on immediately. Ooh, they do make us discard a Astor, but we can go for another Showdown. We don't need our graveyard at all, so that doesn't bother us. We've got a Hammer on the battlefield. So we're going to start with a Showdown. These 2 cards need to be played first. Put down the Retreat first. We don't really need a second Hammer. I'm going to just take the Blademaster now. Hope that we draw into an Astor or a Resolute Strike. And we do actually have one for next turn, obviously, now that I'm speaking out loud. And since it's exiled, it's protected from all their shenanigans. So that's great. And this thing's going to grow a lot whenever we play this. Because we're going to have 2 Showdown of the Skalds going down. And so every spell we cast is going to be 2 +1/+1 counters. On the Blademaster, they've got 3 cards left to be removal. If they don't have it, we're going to get to start putting in work. Crazy work. No blocks, not taking any risk. What do they have? Board wipe? Meat hook? Sensing a meat hook. Yeah. That makes sense. Unfortunate, but I can respect it. Sweet. That could come in handy. So here's the play. We put down the Blademaster. Put down the Mountain. This will go away if we don't play it now. So we're going to go ahead and put the Hammer on that. Also gets 2 counters, which is pretty great. And then let's just go ahead and get more counters while we've got it. We're going to discard this card, take out one of these guys, discard that. We're going to get our 2 extra counters just for absolutely pure insanity. And then next turn, if they don't have removal here, we can add flying for just 4 mana and 30 damage coming at them in the air. So once again, we're setting ourselves up for a play. You can feel why the deck isn't a meta deck, though. It does struggle a little bit. It just doesn't quite play out exactly the way you want it to. Actually, before we do that, let's put down a Astor first so that we get cheaper equip, and then if we need to, we can equip both of these to a Astor. We also are going to get to go searching. Nothing in the top 7. That's crazy. So then we'll equip this for 1, and then this is, once again, win in hand if they don't have removal. So you do get to create a lot of removal checks, which is fun. And there it is. They did not have removal. We get another win. We're going to swing in for 30 plus damage. Crazy. I'm absolutely having a great time. Let's keep going. Okay, as I mentioned before, we've got the Hammer. We've got the Resolute Strike. We're going to go for it. We also are going to run into another card. We run one of Bruenor Battlehammer. This is sort of the backup option. So we run 3 copies of Astor, since it is legendary, and then 1 copy of Bruenor. Now, Bruenor actually makes the first equip cost each time 0. The reason Astor is better is because of that search. That's super unfortunate. At least we got our Hammer down, but they get to toss that Resolute Strike. Okay, they choose that instead. Totally fine with me. We're going to slap down some haste with this Rune of Speed. And if we can find a warrior, we're going to be ready to go. But anyway, Bruenor, each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it, and then you also may pay 0 rather than the first equip ability to activate each turn. So, very good. It was another one a lot of people tried to make work let's go ahead and drop this down first. This is going to be a nasty hammer if we can actually pull it off. Looking for a Fireblade Charger would be perfect. Perfect. But I don't know if we're going to get that lucky. Show me the Charger, baby. Lightning Axe. Not what I wanted, but I guess I'll take it. We'll take that. We've got damage. Looks like we're playing Rakdos. Saw the Thoughtseize and the Epicure. We'll see. The best version, they're probably going to bring out Liliana. So the haste will be nice so that we at least get one really nice attack in before Liliana makes us sacrifice it. But we'll see. Several ways this deck can play out. It could be Anvil, but that one's less likely. And it could just be Rakdos Sacrifice. Those usually are now running Liliana, though. So we shall see. Maul is nice, but not really until we have a creature out. So we're just going to pass. Cheaper to pass and play it later. We're just in a lane top decking situation now. This is the biggest problem of the deck. As I'm playing it out, getting used to it, you just kind of whiff. So I don't know if I need to upgrade the caliber of warriors, potentially, and go a little heavier warrior, where you're just playing like a solid warrior deck that sometimes goes Hammertime, but then you lose the consistency of the amazing warriorness, which would be sad. So I don't know. I'm curious. I feel like I'm getting pretty close to as optimal as the list can be, but let me know what you would do about it. How would you alter this deck list as you see me play it? What would you add? What would you take out? And as I mentioned before, we are going to show that deck list in the end of the video. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Blake. I play nothing but Explorer content here on YouTube. And if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps me grow on my way to getting paid for making this video with YouTube AdSense, and it just makes me feel happy. So, but thanks for sticking around so far anyway. Let's keep rolling. We're just getting beat down without really good plays. Another hammer. Not loving that. I guess we just need to start taking stuff off the board. We kind of want our 5th land, though. Let's just get rid of a hammer. Don't need 2. Gonna hit that. Land number 5 is nice because then you can play in a store and equip it that same turn. So I do kind of want to keep the pathway, and let's just keep it nice and simple. Play it now. Also, land number 6 would be terrible because that would let us Lightning Axe without any shenanigans. Now, they are playing white in addition to their Rakdos. So this is actually, what is that, Mardu? So I don't know what Mardu runs. Oh, this is Greasefang. So we definitely need to keep this Lightning Axe. That was actually a bad Lightning Axe because this is a Greasefang deck. I should have paid attention to the graveyard more. This is Mardu Greasefang. We definitely wanted to hold on to that Lightning Axe. My mistake, big time. But they're also putting enough pressure on with these stupid little guys because we can't draw a creature. Arena, really loving us today. You ever feel like Arena just against you? Like that? They're going to hit us with 4, and we're just going to lose to a Reflection of Kiki Jiki and 2 Voldaner and Epicures. What kind of game is that? Now we are moments away, a single creature away. Any creature in the deck will turn into 10 plus, 11 plus lifelink. So we literally just need to draw a creature. It's literally all, a creature. I don't know what's so hard about that. Are you serious, guys? What is happening? We run like, I guess our creature count isn't insane. I think it's like 20, but still. How many are in here? 1. We had like a 19, we had like a 45% chance on each of those last 3 draws, and we're still not hitting one. That sucks. So we're just going to take another 4, but I'm telling you, this deck can swing. This deck can go crazy. But here's what I think is going to happen. We're going to draw a store for 4 mana, put the hammer on it for 1, gain like 13, and then next turn, when we have 0 mana, they're going to play Greasefang. I'm telling you, that's my karma today. That's my karma today. Or we're just going to draw another Lightning Axe and lose. Or they're just going to play 2 Epicures and kill us like that. That could do it too. What is this card? What do you think? Is this the card? Plains. Awesome. You got it. You got us. Let's keep going. Alright, looking to redeem ourselves with the slow play of going into a store. Drop down the plains. We don't see our hammer. So that's unfortunate. But we're going to find it. This is our game, guys. This is our game. Other enchantments get bigger. It's a pretty cool card, the Weaver. I feel like there's a fun Weaver Saga deck, especially now that we got the new Sagas out of Dominaria. Gotta be some cool stuff. Ooh, that's sad. That is sad. Okay, we're gonna put down the Facebreaker next turn, though. Set up some more sweet plays. Love to see that. Okay, this is working out. We're drawing our lands on curve. We're gonna get some nice plays. A store is going to find us an actual thing to do. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I think we're looking decent here. We're looking decent. We're going to make a treasure as well. That could be cool. Let's go ahead and make our treasure. Boom. Treasure. Thank you. A store. Bing. Let's grab... Since we've already got a rune, let's grab Maul instead of the Shadowspear. So they have nothing in the graveyard. Why are they copying this? Oh, they get to use that to discard whatever they want to bring out for 1 mana? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool little play. They basically ramped for 1. I didn't know you could do that. That's sweet. Wow, you can bring back the same card you discard to bring back lands? That is a very cool play that I did not know about. Very nice. Eric Jelliot, props to you for, or whoever figured that out. I'm so impressed. That's insanely cool. Now, the thing is, though, if we hit off of this Showdown a hammer, we will have enough to play it and go for the win. Hammer, 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 hammer. What is this, guys? Where's my hammers? Where are the hammers? So we're still going to get in for a good amount. We've got a lightning axe if needed. But, no hammer. Hammer would have done it for us. This deck is definitely lacking a smidge of consistency. It's close. It is close. And they are ramping insanely with these restorations of Igonjo. But we're putting a lot of pressure on, too. And this comes down as a 4/5. So it's normally a 3/4. That's cool. And Yorion gonna do some work. I think we gotta get rid of this, right? Is that too good? Or do we just hit Yorion? Let's just hit Yorion, because this is going to go away and come back down as the Restoration, which is just going to ramp them, basically. And then we're going to toss this, because I want both of these cards together. Because I want to gain some life. So they got rid of what? Ooh. Okay, sure. We can get rid of this charger. That's fine. I really thought they would have gotten rid of this, but that doesn't bother me. Getting rid of this charger is nothing to me. We'll send one at your face. And I think we actually just win. 4, 5, 6. Not quite. Okay, so we put this down. Oh, okay, we win. We actually got the win because of that counter. So this goes on a store. They do not have reach. And even just for clarity, boom, perfect. Another win. Stole it without the hammer. Having fun. Let's keep going. Okay, I chose to keep a risky start here just to test it. I like the idea of going turn 4 a store, but having the 2 runes in hand early is really a waste. But just an interesting little interaction we can do just to draw a card is actually enchant one of these lands and just draw us a card for 2 mana. So Obviously not the ideal play, but helps us guarantee we set up the turn for a store. And I think I'm willing to do that, especially on the play. Getting turn for a store is pretty important. And there we have it. We'll go ahead and put down Lion Sash. It's good. Running into Mono White Blink. Not exactly sure what our opponent's doing here, but that's okay. Also a store looking at the top 7. It's just really good. So consistent. Put down a Plains, put down a store, dig for something good, hopefully a hammer. Excellent. Let's grab the hammer. That's going to come down next turn. Go on a store, and they need to do something quick because we're going to start slapping. Yeah, that'll do it. But, yeah, that'll do a lot. We get to do another Astor. So that's going to feel real good. Go for a Foundry. Put down a Store. Take a Shadowspear. We will put down the Shadowspear. Keep the hammer protected in hand. Just in case they would think about Banishing Light. They're probably going to want to hit a Store anyway. But I kind of like putting this down, keeping this safe in our hand for now. They could go Yorion, redo all of this. Except Banishing Light. They don't want to do that. I guess they actually do want to do that. It would be so smart. They would get rid of both of our Astor in that sense. I think, unless we would get to choose which one stays, which we would choose not the one they retarget. So I think they did do the smart play there. Does that help us? I don't think so. I think we do this. And then they're tapped out, so we definitely go hammer. For sure. And I'm feeling real good now. We're going to go hammer, put the Rune of Sustenance on it, put that bad boy on a store, and get in for about 14 lifelink. Taking out Yorion. And then as a backup, we've got Bruenor, which can come in next turn and do all kinds of work. So I think we're going to wrap this one up quite nicely. Lovely. Equip this to a store. Next. Swing. 14. They've got a block. Pretty much no option not to. I guess we could have given us trample. Yep, huge mistake. Huge mistake that I missed. I forgot the Shadowspear also gives trample, or we could have also hit him for 10. Hopefully it won't matter. Okay, that's going to do a lot. But we get to do other good things too, because we get to put in Bruenor. So they get rid of a store. They're going to bring back Yorion later. Sadly, the rune is down here and not on the hammer. That would have been cool. But it only reduces the first one, which is sad. But we're going to put down Bruenor. And we are going to do this. And then also, we're going to go ahead and exile Yorion, because we don't want them bringing that back. No, thank you. Equip 2. Why not? Let's add 2 more. And 17 almost gets us there with Bruenor's, and they're just going to go ahead and give it to us. Insanely good. Holy cow. That was awesome. Okay, jumping into our deck breakdown, here is the entire list. Obviously, we have 3 copies of Astor, Bearer of Blades. As a topping card and a legendary creature, I think 3 copies is nice. And as we saw in one of those games, Bruenor is sort of the 4th copy of Astor, as it is another way to reduce the cost specifically of that hammer, but it's also just not as good as Astor because it doesn't search for anything, and you can only activate it once a turn, but it is quite nice. Now, this obviously is a Hammertime deck, so 4 copies of Colossus Hammer is essential and a must for the deck. Now, other equipment include 1 copy of Shadowspear. It can give lifelink and trample, which is incredibly good. And just in case they have something with hexproof or indestructible, it has that nice little ability. But mostly it's in there for the trample lifelink, which pairs so nicely with that hammer. Now, also, Lion Sash is 1 piece of Grave Hate that can also give us 1 more equipment to target. We also have the copy of the Maul of the Skyclaves. This is incredibly good because the wording actually allows for your creature to have flying with the Colossus Hammer, despite it losing flying if it has flying naturally on the card. So Hammer plus Maul is just an absolute house. So it's giving you +12/+12 flying and first strike with those two together. Really good. One copy of Cloudsteel Kirin is a card I'm playing around with. I think I've decided it's probably not good enough just because it only gives flying, basically. I was picturing some crazy scenario where you attach the Cloudsteel Kirin at instant speed with the Resolute Strike when they're doing an Alpha Strike on you, and then you can't lose the game, so you go into a negative life total and swing it all back at them. But that situation just happens so rarely. It's so easy to interact with. You can kill it. If it gave like some other abilities and the option to not lose the game, I think it could be playable, but I think I would cut this and add either another equipment or potentially another Koll, the Forgemaster. Now, speaking of Koll, is quite good because whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, we get to return it to our owner's hand. So that's a nice combo with the Fireblade Charger and the Colossus Hammer, or just any of our creatures that are equipped getting to come back to our hand. Sort of is a weird reverse way of having card advantage and is really, really good. Now, as I mentioned, this is also a Warriors tribal deck because of the Resolute Strike. So this is target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Obviously, that's not that great, but if it's a Warrior, you can attach any equipment to it for the single cost. So that's obviously another fantastic combo with the Hammer. Now, as far as Warriors go, we've got 4 Fireblade Charger. This is the 1/1 that gets haste if it's equipped, and if it dies, it gets to deal damage equal to its power to any target. Another great combo with the Hammer. We also have 4 copies of the Kor Blademaster. This gives any equipped warrior you have double strike, and it has double strike naturally itself. We also, Koll is a warrior, which is quite nice. And then 2 copies of the Professional Facebreaker. This is the card that can create us treasure or mana advantage, so I think that's a pretty good play. This can come down on turn 3, and if you set up turn 4 with the Astor, it can set up a turn 4 and give you the 1 extra you need for Hammer, which can be quite nice. I think this is a really good card in the deck, and I think it should keep it. Now, also, Astor and Bruenor are also both warriors. So, lots of warriors. I think it could potentially use room for maybe like 2 more somehow. Not exactly sure what I would cut to do that. So, I mentioned Koll could up it by 1 and getting rid of a Cloudsteel Kirin, but I'm not too sure. Now, let's see, just some other cards in the list. Running 3 copies of Lightning Axe. I think I would upgrade this to the 2-mana white card. I think it's Fateful Absence, maybe. It's the 2-mana removal spell. That's a rare that I just don't have any copies of. So I think that is a room for improvement to take Fateful Absence instead of the Lightning Axe. But the Lightning Axe was what I had, and it got the job done. Also, I love the runes in this deck. 3 Rune of Sustenance giving lifelink and 1 Rune of Speed. I found to be very effective just for the sake that it actually just cantrips you, but also can put lifelink on your Hammer or haste on your Hammer. Really puts in a lot of work. It helps the consistency just enough that I absolutely love it. Also, I forgot to come over the Maul of Skyclaves we saw in some games. No, I did talk about that, so we're good. So that is all in the list, I believe. Let's just double check here. And then going over, oh yes, and then also 3 copies of Showdown of the Skalds. For the top end, I think I like this card as the top end because what this deck wants to do is win fast, and when it doesn't, it just wants to be able to do its thing as fast as possible, which is to get out a hammer on anything as fast as possible. And so drawing effectively 4 at the top end, and then we also saw some scenarios where those 2 second and third parts of this saga actually come in handy, giving you enough damage with those +1/+1 counters to finish out the game. So I find it to be pretty effective at the 4-drop slot as a pairing of top end with our copies of Astor and Bruenor. Now, as far as lands go, run whatever duels you've got. I think 23 lands is the sweet spot so far. I tried it with as few as 21, and even then I found it to be just a little bit off. Now, the thing that's weird about this deck is it is super low to the ground, but I found that you really do want to hit land number 4 on turn 4 so that you can be hitting a store on curve is extremely important. So that's another reason that the Facebreaker is nice, because it allows you to miss a land sometimes and hit the 4th land drop or hit the 4th mana with that additional treasure. But 23 allows you to pretty frequently hit land number 4 on turn 4 to set up that store when needed. But I don't think I didn't have much success whenever I cut it to less than that. And I started at 21 and worked my way up. We've got 17 creatures. Some of those are creature equipments. We've got the 7 instance, which that is just our Resolute Strike plus removal, and then those 8 artifacts, which are all equipment, and then those 2 equipment that are also creatures. The enchantment are mostly our runes, but then also our sagas. So that is the total deck list. Let me know if you've made it to this point in the video. You are a true trooper. I thank you so much. Watching to the end of the video is the best thing for me on YouTube. If you want to watch even more gameplay, check out this video right above me. YouTube thinks you'll like it. It's recommended by them, and they know you better than I do. So thank you so much again for watching. I hope you enjoy the deck. Have a great day, my friend.